Okay.
Therapy dudes, take away your stress, put you in a good mood. If you had them over, they would eat up all your food. It's time for therapy dudes.
Welcome to Therapy Dudes. Dan Fox, Andre Karkamaz. We are in part two of bringing back the Dear Andre segment. I'm very excited about it. Thanks for
Me too.
listening. We are sponsored by Boulder Psychological Services. Check out Boulder Psychological Services for all your therapy needs. Andre,
Yes.
in part one, these are both about conflicts in the marriage, right? In part
Right.
one, it was the man's concern about his wife being messy. And part two right now is about the wife having a concern.
No, let's hear it. The same couple?
Different couple. Oh, different couple.
Okay. Okay. Would be like, let's just that they just
That
need
would
to
be
get
great
divorced.
if
I'm
they
kidding.
both intentionally wrote to Dear Abby and complained. Okay.
Hmm.
This one, I think it's important at some point to get into how Abby responds because I just take issue with her response. But here goes. Dear Abby, I saw my husband's Instagram account and he's following only women who show their bodies provocatively.
Wow.
Is that emotional cheating or is it just lust? Also, is that grounds for divorce?
Hmm.
He's looking at his looking at and lusting after women online hurts my feelings.
Makes sense.
All right, Andre, how are you going to respond to this poor woman who is,
Well, I kind of want to hear how Dear Abby, I want to hear how she responded to that because it sounds like you took offense to it.
I did. I did.
I really want to hear it.
Okay, we'll start there.
Okay.
So Abby's response: what you have described is lust. Emotional cheating involves starting a relationship with somebody. So she's saying, like, in response to the person's question, is it lust or is it emotional cheating? She's saying, no, this is lust.
Hmm.
And apparently, lust isn't emotional cheating.
No, I guess not, apparently.
It's emotionally problematic, whether we call it cheating or not. It's going to cause some stress in
Issue.
a relationship, especially if it's something that wasn't like sort of talked about and kind of understood that, like, oh, hey, do you care if I do this? No, I don't care if you, right? Like that would be a different
Right.
situation, but clearly she does care and it's upsetting. Um, and being like, oh, is this like grounds for divorce? Now
Hmm.
Abby responds to that one. And she says, while there are many grounds for divorce in the state of Alabama, looking with lust at scantily clad women on Instagram is not one of them.
That's not up to her
Right. And I feel like
or the state
you
of
can't be
Alabama.
like, well, like the thing that's frustrating me isn't listed on the list of like grounds for divorce. Like I think in most places you can just put irreconcilable differences and that's like the end of that. So this just feels like mailing it in today. I don't get it. And then Abby's final piece here. Many men do this and it doesn't present a threat to their marriages.
I don't agree.
Right. I feel like the guys might feel like it's not a threat, but like
No,
that,
it's you're
right?
putting your
That,
partner in comparison to other people, and
right.
and they're seeing what you're interested in, which is other women's bodies, and it makes you feel insecure because when you're in a monogamous, long-term committed relationship, you don't want to be pitted against strangers. And I mean, it just doesn't feel, well, keep going. I'm sorry.
No, I'm with you. I feel like it damages the intimacy because if somebody is lusting after these like polished, curated images online,
Mm,
which don't really sort of represent the normal range of like human bodies and how we age and things like that,
Right.
it becomes very easy to like connect intimacy with just objectifying a certain like standard of a body that would, you know,
Yeah.
somehow be like, all right, that's beauty and everything else is not.
Yeah.
And so it just makes it very easy
Here's all these
feel
other
like you're
women
right. It's like
that
your
that I
partner is somehow
prefer.
less than because
Yeah.
yeah. So mm,
No, I think it's really sleazy when guys do that. I'm sure there are partners out there who are okay with it, like women, but maybe I don't know how, like, what the percentage is. But if I'm a dude and my partner is got an Instagram and she's following all these hot guys, uh, I'm not going to feel great about that.
yeah,
I'm going to ask why. I'm going to be like, what's the point of this? You know, it doesn't matter how confident of a human being I am or how good our relationship is. It's almost confusing.
yeah,
Why do you need this to be a part of our lives? Because what you focus on is a part of what comes into your mind about things, and that trickles down into our shared relationship, right?
yeah,
So if you're putting images of hot women or hot dudes in your head, and I'm aware of it, even if I'm not aware and you're doing that, it's still kind of slimy in my opinion because you're trying to build intimacy with one person in a committed long-term monogamous relationship. If this is an open relationship and you're both I personally I'm not a big fan of polyamory or all that. I've never really seen it work. I'm sure there are people out there who would argue with me on that, and they probably have some good points. But personally, I think we're wired to be monogamous, long-term relationship types and build stability with someone. And nothing about that behavior suggests stability.
right. I would agree. I would agree with all that. And just to round out how Abby farther just digs a hole here, I,
God,
I just
worse than
possibly
that.
the worst advice that we've gotten from Abby. So after saying, you know, many men do this and it doesn't present a threat to their marriages, she goes on to say, consider it an updated version of the old Playboy calendars you might have seen hanging in garages.
What was
Okay, but that doesn't make it any better.
it
That
wasn't good back then either.
right, and like I don't know, the idea that that would be hanging in a garage. I mean, if it's a garage in your house, that's kind of like what? Like, why are you like bringing that? Like, what? You have kids? Like, I just don't get that. Anyway, um, then
Under the bed or something would have made more sense.
right, then she goes, come to think of it, there was once a Playgirl magazine containing centerfolds with photos of gorgeous, scantily clad men. And then in parentheses, like wink, wink, she says, I'm sure a friend told me about them. Right. Which is just kind of being like,
What is going on here?
right. That's her just sort of being like, aha, I don't want to say that I looked at it. I'm just going to say that a friend told me about it, winky, winky. And it's like, what you're suggesting, like something that you don't like that makes you feel like, you know, upset about the relationship, just do it back.
Exactly.
And then
It's
that's going
great
to
advice.
fix everything. Like, what are you talking about?
Change your mind. Also, corrupt yourself in the relationship is almost what it feels like she's saying.
Right. It's like, when is that ever the right advice? If somebody is doing something that hurts you, just do it back to them. Like if you're getting belittled, just belittle them back.
There's an angle here where you can do it back.
Right? Like
Yeah.
I completely like do
Is
not
this is this real? Is this a fake Dear Abby? Is this
is this a
real?
fake Dear Abby? Right. Excellent question.
Pretty bad. In my opinion, it's pretty. There are some people out there who are probably like all about it, but also, here's the truth. When you're getting into a relationship with someone, you have to understand their moral blueprints, their boundaries, their needs, what makes them feel safe, not safe. You're gonna have to update the way you do life if you really want to be with someone in a committed long-term relationship. If you find out that something you're doing is making them feel hurt or insecure or unsafe, that's just part of a relationship. I think it's really juvenile to just suggest like that someone is their own person when they're in a long-term committed relationship because you're not. You're no longer your own person. You are your own person on the side, and then if you want the relationship, you two are one person trying to figure out like what to do. How do we move forward? How do we create a family? How do whatever it is your goals are as a
Right, right.
couple.
I guess I would say that as like it can't always be a me first thing. It can't be like, well, this is just me. You shut up and deal. Like I'm gonna look at like scantily clad women, tough noogies. Sorry you don't like it. Rub some
Yeah,
dirt on it. Like that's a horrible way to be in a relationship, right? That's like
it's a horrible way to be with yourself because you can say that about your health, for instance. You can say, I want to get McDonald's. I'm tired. I don't care. It's real easy for me to get this. It tastes good. I don't,
wait, what's wrong with that?
I don't need to consider how this is going to impact my body. You know, I can eat this every day. Like fast food, junk food. I mean, it really is no different. Like you have to be able to see your impact on yourself and the decisions you make. And then when you're in a relationship, your impact on your partner.
Dude, when was the last time you actually had the 10-piece McNugget meal with McDonald's fries and a Dr. Pepper? Don't tell
Well,
me that that doesn't do
mm,
some good to your psyche. I
listen,
I
I'm not
refuse.
here to bash the occasional fast food. Uh, but I'll tell you right now, it's been a long time since I've had McDonald's, and I haven't had soda in years and years. Probably like maybe a sip at like a bar or something with a drink, but like an actual soda, probably like 15 years. I don't like the taste. Once you actually remove yourself away from those things, the artificial flavors and all that, your body actually it gets repulsed when you try to drink that stuff.
Okay.
Uh, but the
Um,
10-piece chicken nugget, I'm there with you, man. I did that like probably 6 months ago. I'm not gonna lie. It was a late night. I
I've
didn't feel
actually
good
gotten
about
away
myself.
from that McNugget meal a long time ago, but I just wanted to bring
Oh,
it
you
up.
just set me up.
But I also think there's something a little bit like I think most people would agree on the nutrition thing. But
Why?
why? Because
Yeah.
it's true. You want your body to be healthy. They would agree
Well, a lot of
with your
people say that
position.
it's not
But
that bad.
um, but science shows otherwise. The question that comes up for me in terms of the comparison is that
Mm.
I think there's like a lot of guys out there that would think looking at like porn or scantily clad women isn't a problem for me. It makes me feel good. I like having that like sexual energy get like revved up. It keeps me from actually cheating on my partner. So they would like go to those places where it just feels like, hey, this is actually a good thing. And I know that the research shows, especially the research for adolescents, that looking at porn messes up their ability to form intimate relationships
Oh,
and to
I know
have a real understanding of what that's
what it
supposed to
takes.
be like.
Yep.
Yeah, and that often teenage and young adult males are more hesitant to go out in the real world and try to connect with people because that's threatening and could be emotionally like shameful or just feel bad after the experience. Whereas there's a predictable experience that they can get from looking at porn, and often they'll just stay at home and do that instead of get
Right.
themselves out in the world. So it becomes very isolated.
And it's another addictive cycle, right? It's another quick dopamine hit. It's another pleasurable, let me just get this. The problem becomes, again, like all addiction and all addictive behavior, is that pe men are learning to take care of their intimacy needs through a lack of discipline, a lack of structure, a lack of real orientation towards relationships. I think porn is very damaging. I'm not saying that I've been perfect in life. I've looked at porn. I in high school I looked at porn. In undergrad I looked at porn. I've dropped off. I very conscious about what I look at because even on like social media, if something pops up and you get that I don't as a guy, it will turn you on and you'll be like, I don't want to go down that path. I don't want that energy to lead how I'm going to like experience the rest of my day, right?
Yeah.
It's a very conscious effort, just like all addictive behaviors, to not go down that rabbit hole. But no, I don't think it's healthy, just like I don't think vaping is healthy or all screen addiction is healthy or all these quick dopamine releases that we get from bypassing a natural, cycle are human nature in relationships. I think it's much better to form an intimate, strong relationship and have that sexual energy there. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not trying to judge anyone. I just don't see it as I've never heard someone say that I look at porn and it helps my life out. Or, a partner say that my partner looks at porn and I feel great about it. I've never seen that. And I think that that's there for a reason, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. To play devil's advocate, though,
You can.
there is some research cited in the wonderful John Gottman Bible on Relationships, the seven
Okay.
principles for making marriage work, that
Okay.
says that on average, in a marriage,
Hmm.
men want to have sexual interaction 6 times more than women do.
That's true.
So there's some tension there. And
Yeah.
and I think when um, that gets like tense enough, it's tricky because there's not either like the guy has to just like the guy with the
Use his
dirty
imagination.
house, right? The dirty house guy just has to accept it, right? The house is going to be dirty, or that like I'm only going to have like a sexual experience 1/6 of the time that I want it,
So
or
are
the
we
woman.
talking about masturbating or are we talking about porn?
Oh, so so masturbation is okay, but porn is not okay.
Well, I'm not saying that either is okay. I'm not, but I'm saying that when you're looking at someone else and you're pleasing yourself to them, I don't know if that's a great thing. You have your
I
imagination.
I see. Right. Yes.
You
Or
can
there is a
please
distinction
yourself
for sure.
to your partner. You don't have to always be, if I'm just saying for those guys who really can't not participate in that, like they have this issue, which I think if they are disciplined enough, they can, you know, reorient that energy somewhere else, but redirect it, right? But if like porn, just fundamentally, porn robs you from intimacy with your partner, in my opinion.
Yes, I totally agree, and I think there's a reason. Like I agree with you that there isn't a relationship where the other person is like, oh great, you're looking at porn, like have at it. I think that's it probably happens, but I think that's extremely rare. If it
Yeah.
happens, we're probably in slightly different territory. But
Yeah.
my hunch is that most of the time, the guy in this situation is doing it in secret, right? Like not doing it in like a, oh hey honey, like I'm feeling horny, I'm gonna go look at porn, and I just don't think that's right. So when there are those kinds of secrets, especially around something like this, I do think it creates a disconnect in the relationship, and that's
Well, why does there have to be a secret if it's a okay thing to do?
oh, I think that it's this is in the scenario where the woman doesn't think it's an okay thing to do,
I
right?
know. I'm just saying, like, there's the red flag in general is like if you're doing something that your partner, you're not sharing with your partner, if your partner knew they wouldn't feel comfortable, then there's a part of you that already knew that what you were doing wasn't something your partner would like.
Yeah,
And that's not protecting the relationship,
yeah,
right?
fair, but I think that stuff needs to be talked about and negotiated the same way that like if your partner was like, "Hey, I don't want you eating meat. Like I think it's bad for the planet. I have like a moral issue with it. You need to be vegetarian." I just read a
I
book about,
had a partner that tried to do that to
being
me. I
vegetarian.
was vegan for a year,
Nice. I mean,
miserable,
that was right. No, that was a heroic effort on your part. Right, but at a certain point, it's
very
like
hungry.
if you decide, look, I'm gonna like have some meat sometimes, is doing a behavior that our partner doesn't want us to do inherently wrong?
Uh, Not inherently wrong, but that's different. There's omitting information that your partner is just never aware of. You guys never had the conversation, right? Like all of a sudden, I'm talking to a bunch of people on social media that I know my partner wouldn't want, and they're kind of flirting with me. I don't know. But I haven't crossed any boundaries, right? Like I'm just
Right.
using a hypothetical and,
Well,
and
that's
saying,
the example from the Dear Abby, right? The guy was like, looking at these like
but he
stand.
wasn't. Yeah, it is the example. It's just you have to think about why your conscience gets triggered around certain things you do and what that means, and if you're okay with it, and why you're okay with it, and your justification. Because if you really want to make a relationship work with someone, and you're actually committed, and you actually want like it to be a safe and intimate experience that lasts,
Yes.
you have to pay attention to the triggers that you have in yourself around things you do instead of justify what you're doing that you know your partner wouldn't want. That is what the problem is here.
Oh my gosh, we should capture that soundbite and use it in our future intro. that that was like a really useful distilled summary of like what I think the focus should be on, right? It's important to keep healthy open communication as a priority if you want to have a healthy relationship.
Yes, you can't
And
say I want the relationship, but I don't want to do the things that make the relationship work. Because then you don't want the relationship because you're not doing the things that would make it work. You want a fantasy version where you get to do whatever you want and you don't have to tell the truth, or you can omit information, and you can justify everything that your partner wouldn't like because they don't need to know.
yeah. And it is a sign that the relationship needs work if you're unable to talk about certain things, right? You need to like lean back in and figure out like how do we have a workable conversation
Yeah.
around this. So what happened with the girlfriend that wanted you to be vegetarian? You were vegetarian for a year. At the end of the year, were you like broken up, or were you
We
like
we actually ended the relationship at the end of that.
because of?
No, she would. So I'll just tell you right now, this person, I think she's a great person.
Oh God, here
And
we go. No,
yeah.
no, no.
No, well, I don't want to bash her because we were both immature. We were both growing up, and she just had a very strong feeling about animals, and she was very passionate about it. And I actually found it really endearing. It's just we're not on the same page. Like, I'm gonna eat meat. I'm sorry, people. Like, I can't do it. I tried. I was miserable. I was eating bell peppers and stuff for a year, and let me tell you, I was hungry every day. Um, Maybe I didn't do it right, but it's not for me. But long story short, we ended up, it was a complicated relationship. We were both very young when we got together, and it was just she had strong feelings about it. I had strong feelings about it the other way, and we ended it, and that's okay.
I know we got to wrap up. I have one final thought. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, all that. Leave comments. But my final thought is this:
Hmm.
in my mind, I will assume forever
Hmm.
that the first thing you did after you broke up with her was to go get a Happy Meal from McDonald's.
Okay.
Therapy dudes, take away your stress, put you in a good mood. If you had 'em over, they would eat up all your food.